Hello and welcome to the Worn and Wound podcast. My name is Blake Bettner, and I'm in studio today, joined by Patrick Marlett. There's Patrick.
Hey.
He has 2 watches on his wrists.
Yeah, just for the time being.
And one of them has mechanical movement in it. What's the matter with you?
I feel gross.
Yeah.
It's Bettner's watch. It's Blake's watch.
Yeah.
I like it though.
That's a Black Bay Pro, but the T-fit clasp coming in handy there, right?
Yeah.
You're like, it's not gonna be able to fit,
But it did.
and it did.
Look at you, Tudor.
Hey, those quick adjustment clasps, pretty useful stuff.
That's right. You listening, brands?
I like those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, every micro brand has one now.
Right.
Or a lot of them do. I feel like I see them popping up all over the place, which is a good thing for us. There's Thomas over there. Hey, Thomas.
I'm here.
He's
here. I'm
Okay.
here in the flesh.
In the flesh. Welcome to the studio. Welcome to the podcast. There's Zach Weiss. Hey, Zach.
How's it going? Hello.
2 in a row. Look at this.
2 in a row.
Look
at
us.
I never even left the room. Actually, I did leave the room. Came back fast.
Yeah. We are thrilled to be joined virtually by Mr. Zach Kazan up in Concord. Hey, Zach.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Real well, thanks. We've got Kat down in Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, Kat, how are you?
Good. Hey, everybody.
Hey, and we've got Mr. Ed Jelley out there. Hey, Ed, how are you?
Can I say it?
You can be honest.
Say it, Ed.
You can just say
No, I
it.
just want to say Super Pod. That's all. I'm here.
Welcome
yeah.
to the Super Pod. This is, I suppose, the last podcast of 2022.
Two.
Is that one?
That's the year that we are in. Yes. What a year it's been. We last week we kind of recounted some of our favorite watches and watches that we wanted to talk about, any trends and stuff like that. We are jumping right back into it with a mailbag episode. You asked us a whole bunch of questions, and we are here to answer as best we can. And I promise you, we will give it our all. Do we want to do a wrist check? We can make a round quick and tell everybody what's on our wrist. Zach Kazan, what do you got on?
So I'm still wearing the
Super Pod.
IWC Pilot's Chronograph 41 Ceratanium.
I'm worried about you. Do you ever take that thing off?
Literally never.
Never. Okay. Cat Shoulders, what are you wearing today?
I'm also wearing an IWC Pilot's Chronograph 41, but I am wearing the Collective CO3 edition.
All right. Very cool. Love it. Ed, what are you rocking down there?
It's a different chronograph.
Okay.
It's just a Speedmaster.
Just a Speedmaster. Wow.
No, it's great. It's the Omega Speedmaster. It's been to the moon.
It's been to the moon. Look
good
at
enough.
this.
The moon.
Okay.
Ever heard of
Good
it?
enough for Ed.
Yeah.
Just a Speedmaster. Like Must Cartier or what is that? That offshoot of
Must.
Cartier? Must Cartier? It's like a
Musty.
Just Day
Speedmaster.
Speedmaster.
Yeah. Patrick, what are you wearing today?
I realized I didn't say the actual brand. It's a Grand Seiko SBGN 027, not a standard Seiko, not a Seiko 5.
Okay.
Grand.
None of that
Seiko.
standard Seiko stuff.
No.
It's grand. All right.
Yeah.
Thomas, what are you rocking over there?
I just have a Explorer 14270. It's been to the top of the mountain, kind of.
Just an Explorer 2. Okay.
So,
Just
you know.
Day Explorer.
See, that's the only brand that you can be wearing, and you sound like a real jerk if you say, I'm just wearing.
Man.
I'm just kidding.
No, I retract my previous statement.
All right. Thomas is the least jerkiest. So you
The least jerkiest.
Zach Weiss, what are you wearing over there?
Well, to mix things up, I quickly ran from the podcast studio into our office next door and grabbed the first watch that I saw that I could talk about, and that is the Nevada Datomaster sort of Worn and Wound collaboration, the VK64 model version A with the kind of blue-gray dial.
Right. This was a series. This was a 3-watch release.
This was the part of the triple watch release with Nevada. This was one of the 2 VK64s, not the Valjoux 72, because I only have a non-working sample of that currently, which is not as much fun to wear, But
You need to slap a movement in there.
Okay.
just throw a movement in it. But
If that watch ends up being a favorite purchase of 2023, because I got it in 2023, but I paid for it in 2022,
Yeah,
does that
no,
make
that
it a
works.
purchase from 2022 or
no, I think
from
I
2023?
think when it lands. Is
When it lands.
Not when you were billed.
Okay.
Receipt date.
Date of
I
receipt.
say data receipt as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
If you remember that you even bought it by the end of 2023 with the way things going, I'll be like,
yeah, exactly.
Nice, pleasant surprise.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited about that watch.
me
by the
too.
way.
I'm excited about all of them.
And here's another, well, it's certainly a watch. It's a Norcane Wild One from
Certainly a watch.
2022. This has a Nortec case. It's got a kind of a green and black color scheme. It feels pretty good on the wrist. I will say that. We'll have a lot more on this watch coming to the site early next year, so keep an eye out for that. We asked for questions from you, and you delivered. You sent in a whole bunch of them. I don't know if we'll be able to get to all of them, but we've got plenty of them here, and we've got plenty to talk about. If we need to break this into a two-parter, maybe we will, if we don't get around to all of the things that we want to ask. I'm going to start off with a question from Andy Lambert. Andy_Lambert. I'm just going to guess that's how it's pronounced. And this one, right out of the bat, to Zach Weiss. When will there be a wind-up in the UK or mainland Europe?
Well, hopefully in our lifetime.
There you go, Andy. Hopefully in our
There's nothing on the
lifetime.
books right now, but
You got a venue you can discount for us?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. We'd love to, but it's not happening yet.
Unfortunately, those of us on the podcast have maybe like the least to do with anything wind up, excluding Zach Weiss, of course.
Yeah.
so-
I mean, next year we're repeating what we did this year. So we have San Francisco, and then we have Chicago, and then we have New York. All of them. I think San Francisco is going to be substantially larger because we're taking over a whole other floor of that venue. Chicago will probably be about the same. In New York, I think we're going to mix it up a little bit and probably increase it a little bit.
Okay.
It was a very successful show. So yeah, 3 big events in the U.S. and then and then we'll see. But no promises,
All right,
especially
well-
because I don't want to get killed by the team that does it.
Yeah, Andy. I'm sorry if that wasn't the answer you wanted to hear. Rest assured, we would have loved to do one in.
But it's
in the
on our
UK.
minds.
It's on our minds. It's something
on
we
our
think about.
minds.
Theoretically, if we were to do one in the UK, where? London?
I can't. I was gonna trying to think of some tiny towns. But I don't know any. Liverpool. London. I mean, I think would be the logical place. But I make no promises.
I think there's a town in Switzerland called Basel that has this big exhibition space
Oh yeah.
that maybe we could.
Yeah, we could probably fill.
We could call it
being used.
we could call it Basel World, maybe, or
God, what is that place like? Empty now.
which is
Should hold a roller derby there or something.
a roller derby.
Watch
That's-
fair
okay.
/ roller derby.
Yeah.
We need 2,000 brands to fill that place.
Okay, let's see here. Where we're going to move to next. We've got watch.collector.md. I'm guessing it's like like a medical doctor type.
Doctor Watch Collector.
Doctor
MD.
Watch Collector.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Makes sense.
why,
Doctors can watch collect too.
why do people flex power reserve? Isn't that enough time for your daily to stay alive over the weekend?
Do people flex power reserve?
I don't know.
Is it people or
Oh,
brands?
yeah. The brands definitely
Yeah,
flex
brands.
power.
Right.
Yeah.
Put it on the
it's a
dial,
big
it's a
selling point,
flex.
right? It's an easy to
5 days
understand.
right on the
5
dial.
days, 10 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the question is
Quartz,
why?
solar powered.
Yeah.
all
3
that
years.
kind of stuff.
It's flexible.
Patrick has transcended to another realm when it comes
What do you
to
mean 5 days? What do you mean?
Your watch dies? Mine are immortal.
trash. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you guys care about power reserve? Like when you're looking to buy a watch, Ed, when you were looking to buy a watch, is it something you think about?
It's not a deciding factor. I mean, I think anything for me over 48 hours is probably decent. I have so many watches, I wear a different one every day, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
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 But it's nice when it does have like a 70-hour power reserve.
Yeah. Okay. Ed, what about you?
I actually had a problem with my power reserve just this morning. The Seiko SPB 143. I've talked about this before. 70-hour power reserve, but the accuracy spec is so bad that like you can wear it on a Monday and then you wear it on Wednesday and then you wear it on Friday and it'll be like 5 minutes off by the time you get there. So like just one wear in the middle of the week and then you're outside at your kid's bus stop like 4 minutes early and it's 29 degrees out. So
Looking like an
big
idiot.
flex. Yeah, dude, freezing.
Best dad then.
No, I think it's cool if the accuracy can back it up, by all means. Like I think that's fun when you have a bunch of watches in your collection. It's like kind of handy when one's not dead after like 3 days of giving it a break.
Yeah.
It's an odd flex, like the longest power reserve, but highly inaccurate
Yeah, I never thought
as a
about that.
concept. Yeah.
They really
That's
do
true,
have
though.
to be associated.
They go
otherwise-
hand in hand, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the answer to the Watch Collector MD's question like is kind of like buried in Ed's response there. It's because brands flex power reserve because it's like it's not easy to do it well. Like that Seiko is like not like a super high end movement. It's going to be less accurate as the power reserve dwindles for for a brand to have a watch with a very long power reserve that like maintains a certain level of accuracy like through its entire runtime. Like that's kind of almost like a complication unto itself. It's worth flexing.
Isn't that a remontoire? Isn't that what that does? Or
Yeah,
constant
yeah,
force?
That's what that's what a remontoire is designed.
Yeah.
Like that's what it exists to do. Yeah.
Born to flex.
And a fusee and chain. And
That is
right.
the complication that I would love to see somebody make it like affordable in some respect. Like, I know that might not mean like under $2,000, but like I don't know what the least expensive constant force currently is on the market. That'd be worth looking up. But I'm guessing it's well over $10,000. And that'd be an interesting thing to see a brand figure out in some way.
I agree. I'm on board with that.
Christopher Ward C2, I guess it wouldn't be called the Bel Canto. Get a remontoire on top of my watch there.
Bell remontoire.
Yep. An 8-second remontoire. Yeah.
But I agree with Kat in this, that like I have some watches with 72-hour power reserves now, Grand Seiko, Tudor, and like having that extra hour when I come back to it, it's so nice that they're running. But to Ed's point also, these are both hyper accurate watches. So it's never been an issue for me. Like the Grand Seiko spring drives, those are so accurate. And the Tudor holds a really good time too. I mean, it's almost actually as accurate as my spring drive. So no issues there, but I haven't thought about that. That would suck.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll admit, I don't know if I could tell you off the top of my head the power reserve of any of the watches I own. It's not something that ever really crosses my mind, except for when I get
Asked about
a
it.
technical sheet from a press release of a watch, and then like I always read off, and so I know what generally. But I'm like Kat, like I've got watches. I'm wearing different watches all the time. If I'm gonna wear a watch and I notice it's not running, I just wind it and set it to time.gov, and off I go. I don't know, but yeah, accuracy, and that's why I was telling you the other day. We were talking about it on the other podcast. Since I set them so frequently, they're always like right in the sweet spot for accuracy. They're always like very, very accurate. And so, yeah.
No, I'm with you though. I'm with you.
I know. Okay.
Traditional time check.
Yeah, traditional time check.
Good question though.
Yeah, he's got another one in here that we can do. Isn't in-house a lie, as many are ETA clones? Shouldn't we be praising vertical integration instead?
Well, that's a double question though. Is your question like
No,
clone?
it's not a question. See, it's a period.
So there's no question.
I feel like the statement is like, but what the question I assume from there
What's
is
implied?
like, is that like if it's a clone, is it not in house because it wasn't like necessarily their design? Which I don't know if we want to get into those waters, but that's
People
totally,
put way too much weight on that kind of stuff, and that language is I don't know, a little more opaque.
Does he mean
I
like
guess,
manufacturer movements? Like
I think he's saying like it should be vertical integration instead. Like if they're making the stuff, even if it's not like clean sheet design of the movement, but if they're making all the pieces and the case and that's what we should be praising over. Oh, this is an in-house movement, right? I think maybe it's like a nomenclature type situation here that he's got an issue with, but I get his point. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Zach, Kat?
I mean, I think vertical integration is certainly worth praising, but so is a brand that is able to kind of like very intelligently kind of like curate the right partners to to source different components from, if they get a strap from Jean Rousseau or whatever, Camille Fournier, or like a high-end strap maker, that might be better than like their own like in-house leather working, perhaps. I don't know. So like vertical integration is impressive, but you might end up with something better if you if you're sourcing from people who are experts in dial making or case making,
Like that
or
Bel Canto.
certainly movement making.
like the Bel Canto. I'm not wearing it anymore,
I know.
but yeah.
Thinking about it still.
Yeah, good partners.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Anybody else want to comment on that? I'm going to move on, and I'm going to get into a more existential question
Oh God.
here for us.
Existential watch question.
Ian Segal.b. Ian Segal.b.
What's the B?
Do you ever get burned out on watches? Do we ever get burned out on watches? Zach, are you burned out on watches yet?
I'm not burned. No, I would say I don't get burned out on watches because I try to like, you know, kind of like pay attention to like other interests and hobbies that I have, like very intentionally, like when I'm not working, and that kind of like keeps my interest in watches, you know, like at a level that like allows me to like do my job and like still enjoy it as a hobby as well. So, you know, I try to like, yeah, just like, you know, do other things and just sort of like embrace my other interests and whatnot. So I don't find myself getting burned out.
I think there should be a healthy balance that we like do other things with our lives. You know,
Yeah.
play video games, spend time with our kids, go for hikes, all that kind of stuff.
Not on my weekends. I just look at Grand Seikos.
Yes. Well, I mean, I spend a lot of time on the weekends, like looking at watch stuff as well.
Yeah, all the time.
And it's been a long time for yeah.
I get burned out on the industry. I don't get burned out on watches,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But that's like
Yeah.
sort of because we're working it. I think it's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Thomas, you burnt out yet?
Not yet.
doing
You're
all
so
right?
fresh.
Not yet. Not yet. Let's keep the party going.
Okay, let's keep the party going. All right.
Give me more watches.
Okay, let's see here. PCD Runner asks for practical tips for selling watches online.
Ugh,
I'll just add one.
I hate it.
Just hey, take good pictures. Every time I browse eBay for watches, I'm just like shocked at the poor quality of the photos in eBay.
Taking photos
eBay
of
is the worst
potatoes.
for photos.
Yeah.
Like I feel like okay, I'm not in on
Well,
something.
it's
here.
doubly
Like, what's-
funny because it's like cell phones now take really damn good photos. So like, what's really getting in your way? You know, like
Yeah,
you
but
have
some of them
built
look
in.
like they were taken with like a flip phone from 30 years ago.
How
Yeah.
about the Razor do some product photos?
Right, exactly. Well, they
So I
spent
should
all their
stop
money.
using my razor to take photos of watches.
They
then?
put the money towards the watch, okay? They still have a
Is this
Motorola
a Gillette
Razor.
razor or
Motorola razors.
Yeah.
it's not
I
doing
don't want a
it.
camera in my Razor, by the way.
All right, so
Good photos.
take better
photos.
pictures, okay?
Good description. Sell watches people want helps.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
only
that's
only
key
buy
to the operation. Here.
only buy
Selling a
popular
watch that
watches.
people-
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at what other people are selling prices for. I had this recently because I thought I could sell a watch for a certain price, and then it turns out that the like pre-owned gray market sort of thing that's going on right now is shelling these watches out for a lot less. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. So people were like, I could buy it here for this much. It's like, all right, do it.
I hate when people come
it.
at me with that. It's like, why are you telling me this then?
I know.
Make the purchase.
But meanwhile, I can't sell the watch, so screw it.
yeah.
What
I'm
about
sort of in the
keeping
same boat.
What about packaging? Right? I mean, just
Show
like,
the
yeah.
package.
Well, no, like kind of just like, kind of like a pay it forward kind of thing, right? Because it's like when you get a watch, right, you want it to be shipped like pretty quickly to you, right? So maybe just have the watch just already packaged,
Oh, yeah.
ready to
Well,
go. Make sure it's like packaged well, right?
Okay,
I've gotten watches that are just in bubble wrap, loosely thrown into a
look,
box.
here, I'm like here's what I do. I don't sell watches all that often because I find it like kind of annoyingly laborious. But when I list it, I always include the shipping with the price. Like I'm not gonna, here my watch is
yeah.
$13,500. Wherever you live, I'm gonna charge you out for the no. Like I'm building
the
all that stuff
insurance
into the. I'll ship it to you, and I feel like. It's just a nickel and dime thing when I see that in listings of pretty much any watch over like $100.
100% agree.
And so you just pick up the shipping. Come on, and turn it around quickly. And if somebody buys it, like it's getting shipped that day or like the next day, max. So
Yeah,
those are
like-
two small things that people like really appreciate. So
Even if it's like $150, $200, like just pay for the shipping. You don't need to, the insurance will probably cover that up to that anyways. So it's like,
That's another good tip is always insure the package that
Yeah.
you're sending. Like
It's true.
always insure the package.
Okay, thank you for your question, PCD Runner. Next up, I've got two questions that kind of fall in the same or similar vein, and I think they're both really good questions. One is from Use Your Tool Watch. Great name. Will we see more affordable chiming watches? Could it be a new trend? And another from a guy, Beck Komar. Which complications might trickle down next after GMTs and a chiming watch in 2022? So
Curious.
I think this
Are they
is
referring to the Belcanto? Yeah, no.
well, but that wasn't the only
chimer. That Omega.
The Omega
Then Omega.
Speedmaster.
The Omega Speedmaster.
The Omega.
Then
Speedmaster.
The Omega
Yeah,
Speedmaster.
that's
That's not just a Speedmaster, though.
it's the Speedmaster.
Yeah.
I think it's sick.
Yeah. Just waiting for the Swatch variant.
I mean, you kind of just mentioned this with I'd love to see somebody's take on a constant force going to,
Yeah,
you know,
that'd be cool.
to the escapement. Like if somebody could figure that kind of a thing out. Yeah, I love that brands are thinking about this stuff. Yeah, Ed.
Like maybe like more digital displays. I always think those are really cool. Those are neat.
It's a good call. We've seen like some wandering hours on sort of the fringes. Like there's some sort of strange brands, Adawak and some others doing that. But then also Gorilla, which is, I don't know, I guess they're sort of a strange brand, but they're sort of in a different price bracket. But yeah, like
Maybe a more normal looking wandering hour.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's like Oris could do a wandering hour. Why
Yeah.
not? You know what I mean?
I like the integration of digital displays. There's a particular reference to a Zenith. I forget the name of this model. I'll show you guys it though. But it's called like the Command something. So it's an analog display, and then there's a smaller.
Of course, you know about this watch. What the hell is this?
It's a quartz Zenith that
insane.
you've likely never seen before. But there's a smaller digital display on the bottom right, and you'll push a button, and it'll either tell you the date or it'll give you a running seconds. But it has 3 separate buttons, and they all feed you different information. So the digital display isn't the main time, but it'll give you additive benefits.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a really cool concept, and it's in this amazing case. I wish they would come back out with this. There's like a real market for these too. I'll have to look up the name for you guys, but
No, I love it.
all right.
No, that's great. I like that. And I think there's another question over here from G Dub.
Future Time Command.
Future
Zenith's
Time Command, that's what it is?
That's
yeah.
a name
Okay.
right there.
From the 70s. How dope is that? Yeah.
All right, G-Dub _____. Damasco DC82. What if the number in the date window wasn't the date, but instead it was the chrono hour?
Boom, there it is. That's what I was talking
So
about.
again, that's another like kind of creative.
An
Like,
aperture with the chrono. hour?
but this is like day and date discs that rotate at like steady times, like doing more creative things other than showing the day and the date with them. A la Soul Labs.
Yeah, so I was just thinking that too.
Was a pretty cool thing. I would love to see people get more creative with
Did you
those.
see? I saw this on the Instagram account +9 time, but there was like this Seiko contest that might have been internal to Seiko Corporation to like rethink watches, and there was one of them was a sort of based on the Seiko sonar, and in the middle it says you, and then the day is a word and the date is a word. So it's like the
Affirmations?
You feel love.
no, really?
Yeah, something like
so
that. I don't think they're making these, but yeah, there you
I
go.
would love that.
The Alon Silverstein.
Affirmations.
There's the Alon Silverstein emoticon. Also,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
set it to
yeah.
your mood.
I like that kind of stuff. What about you guys? Kat, Zach, you got any thoughts on this? What other kind of like big complications or ways to get creative with complications that you think we'll see more of in 2023? Chime in.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know. I can't really think of many other than the ones you guys have already mentioned. But I'm all for it.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah.
I think it's fun. Let's keep this industry fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
I agree. Wandering hours, digital displays. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys
sounds good
think
to me.
of? I was looking at this the other day because I think it was on Instagram, but like Habring too has relatively approachably priced like dead stop second. I mean relative, they're like 6 or 7K, maybe even a little less. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I actually want that. Do you
That is a
as a
complication?
I mean, even it's a complication technically, but like the idea of a dead stop second, like I don't know, where do you land on that?
It's such a nerdy thing. Like it's
Yeah.
such a watch nerd thing.
I want to
have.
know how Patrick feels about that.
Yeah, was
it looks like a quartz watch, but it's not.
Like a watch with a true beat second hand, like a dead,
Yeah, it's odd. Like, why don't you just buy the quartz version?
by the real deal.
Yeah, get the real thing. Why don't
Be
you?
much accurate.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars less.
It's odd. I know. Is there? Why was the dead stop second a thing?
It's for doctors and precision, I think,
yeah.
so they
Right.
could have an easier time getting a read on a heart rate or something.
So it was
it's easier to
designed-
count if you can count the beats rather than.
Look at that. There's a logic to it. I didn't even know this.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I
There's
mean,
also like that it can be also the side effect of a remontoire. So sometimes you see it and it's because there is a constant force escapement, but sometimes it's not.
And it's receiving a steady amount of power to it.
Yeah.
that's cool. I like it a lot. I wonder if that breaks my quartz rule. It looks
Yeah.
like it.
It definitely breaks the quartz rule.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Except it still has a power reserve.
That's
right?
like the ultimate, like, if you know, flex, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, All right.
Ooh, that's cool. It's like doing that and it says automatic on the dial. You're like, what?
Yep.
It would never. It probably wouldn't. I mean, but.
All right, this question is specifically for Zach Kazan from David Seth Gallant. Which of your watches would you wear into a Manhattan nightclub?
Ooh.
I know Dave Gallant. He's a friend of mine. He's a local to the Boston watch community. So
And I'm kidding, by the way. This isn't explicitly for you. I just wanted to hear your.
Listen. David knows that. I'll wear any of my watches into any Manhattan nightclub because I do not care.
All right. Well, what watch do you find yourself most often wearing into Manhattan nightclubs?
It's. I don't know. I mean, I can't answer that question.
Exactly. I think it's time you get
nightclub experience is such a small sample size.
Okay.
I don't know that it's a meaningful. I don't know. I can provide a meaningful answer, but I have a come as you are philosophy. Wear whatever you want.
Right.
you need to pick up that Bulgari Diacono. I feel like that's your.
Oh yeah, that would be a good
That's
option.
your nightclub
for sure.
watch.
I think from the
If I wanted to like play into that sort of vibe,
I mean, what,
There are different budget
nightclub.
levels for this. Yeah,
I mean,
well,
you
yeah.
gotta think about like practicality. It's gonna be dark there, so you're gonna need
Okay.
you're gonna need some
I know where
loom.
he's going.
You're gonna need some
Aqualand?
You're gonna need some, you're gonna need some loom.
I like it. There might be a
Do you
metal.
want to be reminded of the time though in a nightclub? I mean, isn't the whole point to get kind of like
Yeah,
to
to get
like
lost.
lose yourself in the music or whatever? Like
Yeah.
This
I don't
guy
know what the point of it
nightclubs.
is. Yeah.
I want that Serica Cali tuxedo dial.
The TXD.
That is
Like,
a
there might be a
nightclub
metal
kinda watch,
detector,
style-wise.
so I would recommend a non-steel, non-ferrous case.
Right.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
Like a Nortec case, perhaps.
Right.
yeah. So full loom
Yeah.
Yes.
Nortec
Full loom Nortec.
for the clubbing.
Okay.
Good
Let's see here.
suggestions.
Let's see here. Let's move to here's one. Still Elise. Still Elise. What do you think about meteorite dials and titanium watches? So we talked a little bit about this on some of the podcasts. Kat, I think we know where your stance is on titanium watches. What about meteorite dials, though?
They're not for me.
Not
Not for me personally. I can appreciate them. I don't particularly like the texture on the dial. I think it's a little hard to read for me.
Okay. Anybody else have strong feelings on meteorite dials? Ed, you rocking a meteorite dial in the Manhattan nightclub?
No, I mean, I think a meteorite dial would be a good nightclub watch dial, but I think for me, like meteorite, like, they tried to like play him up as these like big, super expensive things. Like you see what is like the GMT Master 2 with a meteorite dial, but then like you can also snag a Zellos for like $400 that has a meteorite dial, and like
Cut from the same meteorite.
yeah, like you're not getting, I don't know. I feel like the micro brands
Rolex
came
is
in
solid
and,
gold. To be fair,
The Rolex is
Right.
solid gold, to be fair, yes. But it's
True,
trash because
yeah.
it has a frame date.
But I feel like the hype of like it's a meteorite has been like completely overshadowed by smaller brands. They're like, yeah, we can buy that too, which is cool. Meteorites are for the people. You don't own a space rock.
Meteorites are for the people. Okay. All right. I like it.
is that from Avatar? Is that like
It might be.
That's a quote from one of the.
I'm just getting hyped for that new one.
It's okay. Spoiler.
Well, you
I'm not
saw
gonna
it.
say
Yeah, I saw it. I won't say anything about it.
Jeez.
Watch it in 3D. It's fine.
I can't. That gives me the headache thing. We talked about this last time.
We
remember?
did.
No headaches. No headaches. Promise.
Oh, I can't do that. Okay.
Patrick is guaranteeing no headache?
I don't have a headache.
Okay, here's another one from watch_girl_life. Watch girl life. Do you think the watch market is saturated with too many choices or just right?
I don't think you can
Give us
ever
more
have too many
choices, more
choices.
watches.
Yeah, options are always good.
Choices are never a bad thing. Like, I think we are completely spoiled for choices when it comes to like kind of your mainline genre of watches, right? Like this. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Pile it on.
Maybe
Right.
brands disagree, but
Yeah.
enough.
Okay, so you under no circumstances you guys are being like, nah, like this. We need to weed this down. a little
Stop
bit.
making watches.
Let's-
Would
let's-
you?
I think I understand probably what she's getting at. I'm assuming this is a female questioner, but I get the idea that like we have like analysis paralysis and there's like so much to choose from. It can
That
be
I
kind of
understand.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I mean that's why we exist and why other watch websites exist
And yet-
is to try to like sift through all that stuff. So.
And also, like, as a collector, like I still like only very, very certain watches that, like, it's not like I feel actually like obligated or a desire to buy everything. You know what I mean? Like, there's enough stuff out there that you can find what you want and disregard the rest. I find.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And at the end of the day, it is bringing more people into the space as a whole.
Yeah.
The more options there, because then there's kind of something for everybody type of situation. So, all right.
Moon Swatch Buyer's Guide. Which planet should you buy?
Which planet should you buy? Yeah,
Too
really.
many options. And the sun.
Okay, next up, Alperda. Okay, what is the future of horology? Ed, you gonna solve this one for us?
Apple Watch.
I was going to say you're wearing it.
I am. Oh, Apple Watch. I forgot.
Yeah, it's either the Apple Watch or
I thought you
the
said
Grand
the
Seiko
Apple
Kodo.
Watch.
Nowhere in between.
One or the
No, one or the other.
Okay.
Polar opposites only.
Polar opposites only. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see us heading in more of a mixture of the two. Like, I see a lot more people in the watch space kind of like aware of and cognizant of and using like smart watches or digital watches or anti-digi watches. Like, it seems to be more kind of where they're in a coexistence together more than anything. So maybe that will be...
I was like halfway kidding, but like you see a ton of people wearing the Apple Watch, and like before the Apple Watch, I feel like you just didn't see anybody wearing a watch, period. So
yeah,
it has done its part to get something, people interested in wearing something on their wrist, whether or not they stick with an Apple Watch or they like take it that one step further. All the faces most of them are based on actual watches, and
Analog, yeah.
I'm sure that's gotten some people into it. It's not the future of horology, but I think, I don't know. Apple Watch or Kodo, that's it.
okay.
something this reminded me of, but like the patent that was on silicon that was held by a couple of large Swiss brands, including Swatch, Rolex, and Patek, I believe, ran up. Ulysse Nardin is now run up, and I believe now the brands, I don't know exactly how this works, but like brands can start making silicon escapements and start selling them. But I also wonder if that'll also open up research into other types of silicon applications, which, as we've seen from like Frederic Onstant, could lead to some really interesting things, which maybe will lead also to interesting complications and all sorts of other stuff. So, on like a literal future of horology level, perhaps just the ability to utilize that material more, because there's less restrictions, will lead to something, hopefully.
Yeah, and production costs and methods start to come down. So I completely agree with you there, and it's something that I look forward to seeing. So thank you for that question. Next, Johannes Finn, 1972, longtime listener. Thank you. What are you excited for in 2023 for Worn and Wound and the industry as a whole? Well, I'm excited. Look, we've got a lot of people here, Worn and Wound, these days, going into 2023 more than we had last year. Certainly at this time, like I'm really excited about what we have in store, like what we'll be able to make and create, how we'll be able to talk about watches, how we'll be able to bring you our thoughts, news, pictures, videos, all that kind of stuff. I think that's what I'm most excited about for 2023. Beyond just I hope to see this watch or that watch or anything like that. I'm excited about having all of you people here. So maybe that's a cheesy answer.
Co-sign on that. 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure.
Cosign on the cheese.
on the cheese. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that?
No, it was, you said it. And I certainly agree. Team's growing. Worn and Wound's rocking and rolling. It's going to be an interesting year. 2022 felt incredibly long because of how much we did, and I feel like 2020 it was sort of a build up, if anything, for 2023. So,
is there anybody that we look up to in the watch world? Is there anybody that you look up to in the watch world?
My dad.
Oh man.
God, that's
Tough.
tough. That's a little hard. I
I
mean,
see him in the mirror every morning.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever. There's Don Rogan asked if there's somebody that we look up to and why. I feel like I've had people that I would consider like a mentor type people throughout the years. which I guess is a different thing than somebody that you look up to, right? In a certain way. Not that I don't look up to these people, but people that I respect that have kind of like shepherded me along. Guys like William Messina, I guess I would put into that category. But there's certain people that I come across that work at other brands and that are in the industry that I certainly like a lot. Romain Marietta of Zenith comes to mind. He's a great guy that I really respect a lot. And sure, I look up to him. He's not taller than me, but...
Wow.
I had to get the dad joke in there, right? Come on.
I look down at too. Look up to him.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Allie the Leon. Allie the Leon. Can you please put together a list of watches that would be great for us ladies? Exclamation point.
The Abingdon collection.
Yeah, well,
No.
Well, look, I'm not a lady. We've got one right there. Kat, you can lend your but I have a
We
feeling
got one.
it's all the same. Like I would, if somebody was like, what pen do you recommend for a lady? I'd be like,
Yeah.
any of them that you like, go for them.
I feel like you wear whatever you want, Kat. I mean,
Yeah, and I get this question a lot, and I feel like my answer is sort of boring just because I'm in the camp of wear what you like. And when I first got into this hobby, I would go to the ADs and immediately be shown to the ladies section and feel a little bit awkward when I wanted to try on, let's say, a Black Bay or something that was clearly marked as a men's watch. But I think once you can kind of get past that and look at what you just really like aesthetically and what feels good on the wrist, just don't pay attention to the labels and just buy what you like,
Yeah, what you like aesthetically and what feels good on the wrist, I
Yeah.
think is applies to however you identify.
yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of
So-
scale, which is so interesting. I feel like half of my collection is smaller than yours, Kat. And
Probably is.
and most people grade like a 37. Oh, you have a 37 millimeter Rado. That's typically be considered a women's watch because it's smaller diameter than the large 42 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's whatever you enjoy wearing. I think that's the best bit of advice.
Yeah, I think most of us guys here have 36, 37 millimeter watches.
Yep.
No problem, no shame in wearing it all. So yeah, Allie, the Leon, if you like the look of it, go try it on. If it's comfortable,
Go
there you
for it.
Buy it.
Yeah. Okay. JC_Red Cure.
It's probably right.
I surmise this is just an Argentinian flag and a trophy for that thing that they did the World
That
Cup.
was the
Oh,
World
yeah.
Cup,
That
World
was-
Cup.
Yeah.
Kidding.
I was walking out of Avatar 2 when I heard about that.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Congrats.
Congratulations if you are an Argentina fan or a soccer fan, I guess.
Yeah.
And sorry to the
Everyone else, the rest of the world.
Congrats to all the soccer fans.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
We did it. We got through another. We got through a World Cup.
Yeah.
No, congratulations to Argentina on taking that one home. And what's his name? Messi?
Messi. Yeah,
right.
I think that's your
Alexander Messi?
Messi.
no Lionel Messi.
Why?
Lionel
Messi.
Okay.
Reginald Messi.
Reginald? John Messi? Okay.
He definitely wasn't Messi.
He wasn't messing around. All right. Okay.
Throw
DP
the Messi
Patch
pun.
asks, what brands other than Tudor are best positioned in the $3,000 to $5,000 segment?
Other than Tudor,
Other than
Man.
Tudor.
are there other brands?
Oris.
Doxa.
Yeah.
Oris,
Grand Seiko.
Doxa, Grand Seiko,
Quartz, Grand Seiko.
Yeah.
Christopher Ward's, Fairs,
Louis Erard.
Louis
Yeah.
Erard.
Not too many Crisor, but the other Belcanto. Tudor dominates it though.
Yeah.
And I think everyone else is
Norcane.
trying to kind of get in there, but watch out. Tudor's doing a pretty good job in that price range. But
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the
Sure.
pre-owned, I feel like there's a lot of Omegas you can
was
find in
gonna
that
say,
in that
yeah.
range, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
modern
Yeah.
Seamaster 300s and
What other Globemasters new? Like what other Seamasters new?
7,
7?
right? 6.
Right.
I think they start just north of 5 for like certain things, like the
Like on a-
Aquitaine
like on a
Rail
rubber
Master and stuff
strap.
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that Oris is like just thinking about like what's in their catalog. I mean, they just have a wide ranging catalog. I mean, between like the pointer date, and then you have the different types of divers, and then you have the new
Rectangle.
right, exactly. Is that's what it's called, right?
Yeah,
The
they call it a
rectangle.
rectangle.
Yeah, and then
rectangular. That's
Yeah.
sub 3.
right, and then you have like the new movement, and then they just came out with that 3D printed carbon case, and then you just have different types of dial colors and whatnot. I don't know. I really think that they really do a good job with just having a wide range of different options
And
around
price
that.
points.
Around that.
these
Yeah,
are-
and sometimes below 3,000, right? So yeah.
I like those are all pretty fair suggestions there. Definitely go check some of those brands out. I think you hopefully might be pleasantly surprised.
If you're itching to burn, it's 3 to 5K.
If you're itching to burn, he's like, I gotta get rid of this $3,000 to $5,000, and I do not want a tutor.
Exactly.
Okay. He also says white is the most versatile dial color. Anyone with me?
Fact. It's up there, white and black. They're both neutral tones. Like, wear them equally. I don't own a white dial watch right now, but that's not because I don't want one. People just
Would you accept full lume as a white dial?
full lume as an answer. Yeah.
Right. Ed, do you own a white dial watch?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
No,
An emphatic
no, I don't know. White's not my color. I'm like a black T-shirt, black watch. I have a blue watch. I have a Black Bay 36 blue.
Okay.
I have a gray dial. I'm a white guy, but I am not a white dial guy.
Not a white
Green dials, but yeah, like a stark white.
White comes to mind. I'm thinking that new Seiko Slim Willard.
Slim Willy.
Slim Willy.
That's it.
Those are very white, and I don't like the white. I like the black, and I like the black and gold. But
I like the cream that they do. Seiko does sometimes. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, it is.
We're talking like
Pure
like
white.
a crisp white dial. It's a little bright for me. It's a little sharp. I think it's actually less. I'd say less versatile because it's probably in contrast to clothing, which tends to be probably neutral to dark. I mean, obviously, some people do wear those. Yeah, I think you have to suit it for your palette in general. If you lean towards brighter than 50% gray, then one kind of. You know what I mean?
Getting
Like,
technical, yeah. I found myself wearing black sneakers for a long time, but now in my 30s, I've matured to white sneakers
Okay. Yeah.
for the patina.
You might just move to Florida, get it over with.
But I actually find myself wearing white sneakers more, and I feel like it's the same thought process. Like it's white, like it goes with everything.
To me, it depends on the hour markers in the hands. Like the 16570 with the white dial does this really, really well, and that's why I love that watch in white because it's a really nice contrast.
Right.
Zach, do you own a white dial watch?
I don't think I currently do own a white dialed watch. I'm not against white dials. I've certainly owned white dialed watches in the past. Can I answer this question by answering the same questioner's next question, which is versatility an overrated quality for enthusiasts with multiple watches? Because I think the
But
answer
he
to that
just
is
said
yes.
Okay. But the white dial, he says, he comments on its versatility.
Right. So
And then,
I
is
clearly
versatility overrated
DP
quality?
patch has versatility on the brain, which is understandable. But I would just like to chime in and say that I don't think about versatility at all when it comes to watches. I just kind of like pick a watch I like and wear it. And I tend to not pick watches that are going to be like too delicate for like anything that I'm going to be like engaging in any sort of like that just basic life activity. But in terms of like aesthetics and dial colors, I don't really think about versatility too much. I just
All right, so if
appealing.
if you came across a watch with like a bright red dial and you're like, oh, I don't have a shirt I would wear with this, you'd be like, I don't care if I like the watch.
For years I owned, and I miss it, and I kind of wish I still had it. I owned a vintage Zenith Defy with a red dial, and I wore that with anything. I didn't really put much thought into what I was.
Whatever you damn
coordinating
well
with that
felt
at all.
like. Huh? All right. Kat,
This is the same question as the nightclub question, really.
Is
Like,
the-
just go,
Yeah.
wear what you like.
Yeah, Kat, do you own a white dial watch, and do you pay attention to the versatility of the watches that you're buying?
I own a cream dialed Zodiac like skin diver, but I don't think I have any white dial currently, white dials in my collection. But I don't know. I say that I'm open to all sorts of colors, but I've owned several like Pepsi dialed watches now that I've always end up moving on because I feel like they clash with what I wear. So I guess I don't know where I stand on this. I'm open to it and then trying it out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Better question is, do you dress depending on the watch you're wearing, or is the watch accenting what you choose to wear?
The watch usually accents. I usually pick the watch after.
Okay.
the dress.
How many of us
But,
like start the morning with the watch first?
But if there's a watch I feel like wearing, I will think about what I'm going to wear.
Really?
that
Okay.
day. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think less in terms of like coloration. I mean, all my clothing is like dark earth tones or black, but more of like if it's casual versus like somewhat more formal
Yeah.
attire, that might make a decision.
Right.
They might actually, sometimes I'll put something on, like a blazer and a button down shirt, and then I'll be like, now I want to wear X. Like it'll point me towards the watch. I'll be like,
Okay.
I feel like, okay, this is a Blue Dial Grand Seiko kind of a moment, and just but that could also happen in t-shirt and jeans. Not like
Yeah.
that watch only works there.
Thomas, set us straight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
Full
it's what's that?
Yeah,
full yeah,
Falloom always.
yeah. I mean, I don't think like, I think of it as like, for me, I do kind of like live, or I try to do at least like more like active things. So I think of versatility as in like kind of like what I use it for and whatnot, and like I do like to be out in the water. So I think there is like, I think water resistance kind of plays a role in there as well, right? So yeah, I mean, I think overall, can you wear a watch like in any situation? Like, yeah, I guess, but I think more so for like versatility, I think for me is like kind of, if it is gonna like fall in line with what I'm gonna be doing like outside of like the office or whatnot, I think that kind of like plays a part in kind of like what I choose and whatnot. So
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why most of my watches are sport dive tool watches, and I do anything in any of them that
yeah,
from like roughhousing with the kid to playing football to hiking around, doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
for sure.
No, I'm here for it. I do own a white dial watch, and it's a guy asked me if I still own it. Actually, here, Kurt_Sterling. Does Blake still own the SPB 213? If so, any thoughts after a year or so?
I've heard of that thing.
Yeah, yes, I still have it, and I still like that watch, that platform a lot. Actually, I find myself wearing the SPB 149 more often though, and further still, the SPB 317 I find like even a little bit more comfortable. That's like that slim watch that's kind of between
Slim Willy.
Yeah, it's like between the 62 Mass and the Willard case. So it's just it's felt a little like it's great. So I find myself actually wearing that because it's just like a bit more wearable on the wrist. So, but yes, I still have it, and it's a white dial. So I guess it's
DMP,
versatile.
right?
My what?
Your DMP, is that what it is? The acronym?
Oh, DMH.
DMH.
Oh, DMH. Yep.
That's sort of.
Oh yeah, that does have kind of a white.
Hey, where do you put
plate.
panda dials in this? I guess is that a white dial?
Is it white or is it
What
black?
a black spot.
That's true.
Or is that just a white dial?
And remember, yeah, I have a silver. Dial,
I don't
guess.
own like a. I used to have a Hamilton Chronomatic, but I don't anymore. That was a panda dial. That never felt like wearing a white dial watch, like a stark white, but it was also vintage, and like it had like a, it had aged from like a crispness. Anyway,
You were saying, how does silver fall into?
Well, I was
I'd
thinking
always
I also
pick a
have a
silver.
silver dial,
Right.
but I didn't think of that as like a white dial. But it's very light,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So-
silver's
that.
different. I think it's totally different.
Silver's different, bro.
Okay. Stephen J. Dean. When do you think the 1970s watch trend will fade? I believe all trends eventually end. So, yeah, this is a subject that comes up from time to time. I do think that the whole kind of like the throwback thing is waning a little bit. I think that's still going to be kind of the bread and butter for some brands, and there's always going to be a demand around kind of like that style and that vibe of watch. But I can sense a lot more brands like are willing to push into new directions and do new things, be creative, push themselves a little bit out of that comfort zone a little bit. So it's certainly a trend that I hope continues to. I don't think it needs to like go away altogether, but I think the brands should be more considerate in how they are approaching.
Heritage
this kind of
design.
Well, with the novelty sort of faded, like you no longer can just make a barrel case and be like, "Look what we did. We made a barrel case. It's like 1968 again." It's like, so you have to do more. I mean, you can still make a really nice barrel case. You just have to it has to be more to it, which is good because the pastiche is sort of not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why like that design has kind of like transcended, the time is like, right? So I mean, it's just like
That's the heyday,
right.
That's like
I
the
feel
iconic
like
period.
yeah, it's cool to like have a couple of those pieces. Like, I mean, that's the reason why they're they're, I guess, attractive, or like why they've kind of like they've stood the test of time. And then like for me, I think of like it's cool to have a couple of those watches, and then I see Zach's collection, and it's just like I'm inching more towards that type of like the Bel Canto. So it's like some of these like kind of like in your work, right? I mean, I don't know if I like could see myself as being an Urwerk owner, but I aspire to like those types of like watches, like that tell time, as you said, Patrick, in like a different way.
Yeah.
In the resonance and the same thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. And Kat or Zach or Ed, I don't know if you have any feelings on this kind of trend, the kind of throwback stuff, and like, that's enough of that. Let's push ahead. Let's push on.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Ed, even you?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good.
So,
All right. Well, look, a good design, I think, should like have an element of
timeless.
Well, yeah. It's like it's hard to pin down to any specific. Like the Speedmaster is a watch that I always point to as an example of this. To me, it doesn't look like it's from any specific. Like it doesn't reek of a 50s and 60s design. Like it just doesn't. Like the new one doesn't look all that different from the one in 1969, and it's I don't know. Still looks good. Looks like it could have come out, in this era and looked just as fine. So
instead of circles, triangles, and rectangles on your
triangles,
Tudor and your Rolex,
rectangles,
what do you switch them out for?
And rainbow bezels. That's the way of the future.
Okay.
Right.
God. I have no chill for rainbow crap. Sorry.
Spencer Fanger, Zach asks, "What's something you want to change about the watch world?" Rainbow bezels right off the bat.
No more rainbow bezels.
No more rainbow
No, I mean,
Many.
people are welcome to like whatever they want. It's just like, I get it. Whatever. I just don't need to hear about it. Personally.
You don't want to be hearing every day that this is the next big thing.
And maybe it is the next big thing, but I get it. Like I got it once. It's like the irony. I guess I'm just not into an ironic appreciation of watches personally, because I think there's still enough there to be like just genuine. So on my level, my personal level, that's it.
Okay.
But everyone's welcome to love whatever they want, whether it's a rainbow or the Jamaican kind of green yellow on that Omega, which was out of left field also, like
Jamaica Master.
yeah.
Jamaica Master.
But I mean, change. I don't even change it. But like, what would I change about the watch?
I think there's a broader implication here, but certainly a trend or a fad, I think, qualifies as
Change about the watch.
as something. What do you think, Zach Kazan?
I think there's still a lot of snobbery in watches. I think
100%.
people need to just kind of cool it with like the flexing and the like the gatekeeping sometimes around watches. So like that's sort of always been an issue, and I imagine as long as like we're talking about like extremely expensive, luxuries, I imagine that'll never really go away. But I'd like for there to be a little less of that. And I think to our credit, I think we're doing something about that by like talking about some of these watches in a more approachable manner. Like the Jamaica Master, for example.
Like the Jamaica Master, No, I completely agree. Watches are way more fun when there's not that like element in it. Yeah. Ed, what about you?
For me, like I think ideally, like there would be make it to where there'd be enough of everything to go around. I think like the scarcity, whether artificial or legit, has put like a bad taste in my mouth around brands that I like, kind of aspired to own, and now I'm kind of whatever on it. Starts with R, ends in Olex. It's just like you want to go buy it. I'm an enthusiast. I'm not here to flip it. I'm not going to call it a Rolly ever, I promise. And like
anymore.
It just that's the last time. It just like, I don't know, you want to go buy something that's like super freaking expensive, and for whatever reason you can't, and you get kind of laughed out of the store, or hey, we'll write your name down, whatever, we'll see you in 16 months. And it's like they're never going to call you. Like it's just that whole kind of, I don't know. You hear a lot about games played behind the scenes with authorized dealers, and then sometimes you see stories of people just walking in and buying a watch. So there's no rhyme or reason to it. I think just I'm going to put a blanket statement that like the scarcity, whether artificial or real, like is just a bummer. I would change that if I could, like Thanos like snaps something, like just fully stocked shelves at all your ADs, and like no more gray market games, no more watches as investment pieces. I think it's just kind of like adds a layer of like grossness to everything.
Yeah. All right. Well said.
Good use of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Appropriate. Yeah.
Yes.
Worth the effort to get for that.
Yeah.
Cat
So world
shoulders.
domination.
You got any thoughts here? What are you changing? You got the Infinity Stones. You got the gauntlet.
No more titanium. No, I'm just joking.
It's removed.
Well, a few minutes ago we were talking about having too many options, and I think, in my opinion, I still don't think we have enough when it comes to sizing and things like that. There are brands that are doing it really well: Rolex, Tudor, Nomos, even Breitling as of late too. Offering the same watch in just different sizes, and I really really like that availability for all sorts of wrist sizes. And I hope that trend really continues into this year and into the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Thomas, any thoughts here you want to add?
No, yeah. I mean, Ed kind of stole my thunder there. I mean, as far as that was like the one thing is just accessibility.
Yeah.
I'd just like to see it just across the board. It's just a bummer when you kind of want to get something, or even if we try to like write about it and it's just like sold out. It's kind of a bummer. So yeah, definitely that.
Yeah, I agree. Patrick, lay it on
More
us.
unique quartz watch designs.
More unique quartz watch.
So inventive in
very
the
reasonable.
70s.
I think that's a
honestly.
great
Yeah.
thing to call out, and I can 100% agree. I think a lot of like serious watch brands should take it seriously and have more options in that.
Right.
In that
Well, I feel
realm.
like micro brands really, latch onto the quartz movements they get their hands on. I like what Brew does. Like, I know the metric's very popular, but he's doing some really cool things with quartz movements. That sort of, I don't people aren't afraid to approach his watches because they're aesthetically pleasing, and then you expect them to be reliable. But I don't know what it is about a lot of major brands where the quartz collection is usually like 5 or 10% of like all of their total offerings, and there aren't that many interesting designs or color variations within that. Grand Seiko is usually good about it, and that's why I own a Grand Seiko. But even this is like a black dial steel bezel. It's very reminiscent to the rest of their catalog as well. But more cool designs. Like you, there's a lot of cool stuff in the like vintage offerings, but I don't really want to own a old quartz movement necessarily from the 70s.
Yeah.
Be nice if some of these designs were reintroduced. My only concern is like parts and repair and like long term, like what's this going to mean for me?
Yep.
Because in the same way you might look at a mechanical watch, I too want to pass this down to my kids, and I fully suspect this will last well beyond me. But yeah, and also to piggyback on what Kazan was saying, yeah, the snobbishness in the watch industry is very real. And it's true of any hobby, anywhere there's enthusiasts, you know what I mean? I feel like if you're so engrossed in collecting, and it's really one of the only things that sort of defines you, you might feel a level of snobbishness or gatekeeping, and maybe just let that go if you're that person. But no, I agree. There's a lot of it. Read the comment section anywhere for anything.
Yeah. No, I
And you'll
completely
see it.
agree. On that note, I would add like cynicism to the pile, which I don't really care for. I'd only add, I think all Daytonas, their subdials should be totally filled in. I don't like this ring business that's defining the subdial. It needs to be a solid circle, and that's that. If I got the Infinity Stones, whatever, that's what I'm doing. And making more of them available to people who want to buy them at their retail price, of course.
But you'd leave the screw down pushers, I assume.
I like the screw-down pushers. I got no problem with screw-down
Gosh.
pushers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, buy a vintage one.
Throw out
Like-
all watches, screw down.
No, like here's the thing. I'm never in a rush to use the chronograph. So, and if I'm using it, it's usually for something like.
What are you so
rather
scared of,
specific.
though? What are you so scared of?
I'm not
Why you got
scared
them
of
screwed
anything.
down?
I visually like it.
What are you so scared?
I think it visually adds something. Okay, I would if they made a pump pusher Daytona, I'd have no problem with that either. But I like the look of like it goes to the kind of like sporty. It's a small case and body on the Daytona, so like it adds like just enough heft like asymmetrically that it does something nice for like the overall visual in my opinion. So yeah, that's my change.
Yeah. Take
But
that,
like I
Zach.
said, if I think next year is an anniversary year.
It's true for that for a
Whoa.
certain watch too.
Well, it actually is true of the Daytonas. Yeah,
Yeah,
they did a pump pusher.
60th. God, what are they
steel
gonna do? I
Daytona
don't
with
even wanna-
filled in subdials.
You know what? Here's something I want to change. I want to change that like everything has to stop when this brand that everyone loves to rag on, Rolex, does something. It's like just choose where you stand.
Yeah.
If you're so angry about everything, a left hand GMT master, a titanium 50 millimeter, like then don't make it the only thing we can read about for like 6 weeks at a time. It's very annoying. It's like just move on.
Yeah.
Treat them like any other. Sorry.
No,
It just it happens.
agree.
It's like everything has to stop.
Yep.
Did something, and I hate it.
Yeah.
You know.
And you don't have to like or care. If you don't,
But God, I mean, I can only imagine the Daytona, whatever it is.
it'll probably be nothing.
It's probably bright yellow dial, put 60th
It'll probably
anniversary,
be
big numerals on
platinum.
them.
That's what it'll be.
Yeah, don't you?
That was
Dude,
the
they did
last
that-
one. Yeah.
Was that 50 when they did it? That was that long ago? Ugh, I'm old.
Yep. That was 10 years ago with the platinum, the Platona. Yep.
Platinum with a meteorite dial.
They did that last year. They brought a
A
meteorite
fair
dial to precious metal Rolexes or to precious metal Daytonas, which I don't particularly care for, but that's just me. All right. What are you changing about the watch world? We'd love to hear from you. Let us know. Industry as a whole, media, publications, us. Let us know. We want to hear about it. Watches, pump pushers, screw downs. Let us know down in the comments. All right, and that is it for the One On Podcast in 2022. Thank you to everyone on this podcast. It's been a fabulous and fun year covering all this stuff with all of you. Thank you to all the fabulous guests that we've had on our podcast throughout the year. We appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you, listeners, most of all. Without you, we wouldn't be doing this. So let us know your feedback. Go into Apple or wherever you listen to this. Leave us a piece of feedback. However you do that, we would appreciate it. And I can't wait for 2023. A lot of cool stuff ahead. So keep paying attention, and we've got a lot of really cool stuff in store. So thank you again from all of us here at Worn and Wound. We hope you have a fabulous end of your season and a great beginning to your 2023. Until next time, take care.